This is Stephanie Shea, the voice of Sailor Moon, and in the name of the moon, you are listening to A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live.
Here comes a new challenger. Time for your Talk Time Live exclusive.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me today the lovely and talented actress from TELLTALE'S The Walking Dead Season 3, Shelly Shenoy. First of all, wait a minute, am I getting this right?
Shelly Shenoy.
It is Shenoy. My goodness.
Boo! I was just going to boo her, but okay, yeah, no, this is great. How you doing, Dax?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing? Thank you for being a part of the show.
Thanks for having me.
I know I should have honestly, I should have asked you before we started the show, but I went for the go and made it. Yes.
That's okay. You got it right.
I feel like I need to do like an old school Tiger Woods, like,
No, you got it right. You got it right.
Cool. Well, thank you again for being on the show. I got a ton of things to ask you. I mean, you work alongside the Telltale series a lot, and I'm very eager, and as well as our listeners are very eager to find out what's going on in your world and how things are going with that. So, first I wanted to ask, of course, you played Kate Garcia in really a very deep, pivotal role in the season 3 of TELLTALE'S The Walking Dead. This time around, we saw Clementine. It scares me, with that character because I never know.
Yeah. Oh, nobody does.
It scares me to death about that character. But she encounters you. Your character, actually, in a love triangle with Javier and David Garcia, which is very kind of similar to the Rick and Shane storyline of the original series, sort of, kind of, but it just goes into a different direction. Mm-hmm. What was it like playing that role of Kate in the series?
Oh man, what a broad question to start with. I mean, I could go on. How much time do we have?
Hey, roll with it.
Well, so it depends. It depends on what side you want to know about. I mean, overall, I could say that Kate means everything to me, mm-hmm. and getting to know her as sort of as we discovered each other. I mean that, like. It became such a gorgeous relationship, and I love her madly.
Oh,
I love Kate Garcia madly, and so playing her, by the end of the season, I mean, it was just so emotional, and it was just amazing. I will say that the last the last five records that we had for season 3, we always thought was going to be our last.
Right.
So here we're saying goodbye at the end of each of these, we're not going to talk again, which is hilarious because little did we realize it was just the beginning of how much we would be in touch afterwards, including going to the E3 conference and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But we said goodbye as though we meant it at the end of all of our records for the last 5 times in a row, and only to jump back on again, like, here we go again, and we're doing more pickups and we're going on and on. But anyway, just to answer your question, it was wonderful and touching and emotional, and I very love her and love the Garcias and the game and Clementine, of course.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, the funny part is about it put Clementine in a background, so to speak.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You guys got to really go with your story, and you stood out to me. And you were the pivotal point of this whole thing. You were in the middle between this relationship of the brothers, and it was deep. It was like, and I've been a fan of the Walking Dead series from Telltale. To me, is like the Bambi of video games.
Sure.
I mean, ever since, and I'm telling you, still to this day, Lee hits me hard.
Oh yeah, of course, you and about 25 million people.
I feel like Lee, people tell me, what is your favorite character in the Walking Dead series? I'm like, look, I know everybody's a Rick fan, but if you haven't played the Telltale series, Lee nails it. I mean, he was like the new Optimus Prime to me.
Oh, please. I love a little, what is it? Optimus Prime. We're talking about Transformers, a little Transformers throwback. Okay. But yeah, no, I agree. And I feel like so many people feel that way. You're not alone. I mean, people are crazy about Lee and crazy about Clementine.
If I ever have the opportunity to get him on the show, I probably wouldn't make it through the show because it was like, and and me being a man, I got to man up about it. But damn, it's like really. But here's a question: were you a fan of The Walking Dead before you taken a role?
Well, The Walking Dead lives in a couple different universes.
Yeah.
And I had seen the show and I did know about the comic series.
Mm-hmm.
And being a voiceover artist, I very, very clearly remember hearing about The Walking Dead, Telltale's The Walking Dead, back in 2000, was it 13 or so? 14?
I believe, because I tell you what, the reason why I've even began to be a Walking Dead fan solely was because of the game.
Was because of the game, right? So I remember as a voiceover artist hearing about the success of the Walking Dead Telltale video game series, of which I had not played, but I remember thinking at the time, and I might be crazy, but I remember hearing about it in towards the end of 2014 is when I remember hearing about it through the wavelengths of, that was when the success.
Same here.
Really started to make itself known. And I remember hearing about it at that time. I even remember where I was and remember like reading an article about it or something. And I remember thinking, man, those voiceover artists, what a lucky break. What a beautiful success.
It's a game changer. It literally.
Because I remember the article about it was something like, Telltale video game company has changed the game of the way has changed the way video games are made, has changed the game for choose your own adventures.
Total narrative based and direction based, and it was so much. I heard, like you, I heard so much praise about the game, and I wasn't believing. I wasn't believing the hype because I'm like, you don't can really control the avatar character. You're just swiping. How is this really the game of the year? And I was like, man, once I got, it was like Breaking Bad. Once you got into it, you got sucked right in.
Oh, don't you Breaking Bad me. Oh my God. I know. I'm a huge fan of the
I'm a late bloomer and I'm sorry I was.
For Breaking Bad?
Yes.
No, so was I.
Oh, so to the point, I blocked everybody. I put a clear warning on all my social media. I'm taking a class in chemistry. With a Professor White. And get just left hints. Do not tell me. Do not allow me to cheat on the test. Yes.
In Breaking Bad, I will show up at your house.
It was there. It was real.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel you. But hype is hype. And it's there for a reason. Hype isn't generated by anything except for what it really is about. There's not, you can't like pay anybody to talk about the game. You just can't. So when the success of The Walking Dead and what happened was season 1 started spreading through the, audio waves of the industry. I remember reading articles about it. I remember thinking, man, like how great for them. Like I just applaud. Like when I hear good stuff like that, I looked into it and I was just like, wow. And then I actually got involved with Telltale, about a year after that. But I remember the success hitting the waves. And
are you exclusively to Telltale? Because I know most of what you've been doing lately is mostly around Telltale Games. Or do they use you quite often in the studios?
Am I exclusive to them, or do they just happen to use me often? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, you don't sign on to a gaming company. So it just so happens that I've worked with them a lot. But I've auditioned for every single thing I've gotten. As just like anybody else. I mean, they told me how many girls auditioned for Kate.
Right.
They didn't have to tell me that. It's daunting. It's terrifying. It's
sure.
Just like, are you kidding? It's ridiculous. But somebody mentioned that in my first booking. I didn't even know I could get into I had no idea what I was in for when I showed up to that first record. but yeah, no, I'm not exclusively signed with Telltale. I work with other companies and all of that. I've just had a lot of great success with Telltale recently.
Absolutely. Now, going back to playing that role,
Sure.
especially in that particular role, because you've also worked in Minecraft and you did parts in other like Batman and Telltale, but exclusively for The Walking Dead. When you're playing such a deep and dramatic thriller like this, does it take a bit out of you mentally having to be in the mindset of these characters and what like the ones that you see in The Walking Dead?
I'm not going to say that I would leave the records like walking on air. I mean, it's exhausting, but it's thrilling.
Mm-hmm.
So, you go and you work on something. A lot of people have been asking me recently about one of the scenes in particular and what it was like to record that scene. And we can talk about that later. But like people want to know like what it's like to be in these certain circumstances or in these situations in the game and whatnot. And as exhausting as it can be, I mean, I still would leave every record thrilled and exhilarated.
Right.
It's so exciting and such an adventure and trust me when I say, I mean, we are involved and like at the beginning of just about every record, whichever director I would be working with at the time, and most of the time it was Connor Stock, working with Connor, but I'd worked with a handful of directors before Connor sort of took over the season, but each director each time with Telltale would spend as much time as they cared to or as needed to explain every possible scenario of what was happening so that we deeply understood what was going on in every scene, behind every scene, what happened before, after, and what's happening during every scene.
Right.
Even if you're not involved with those roles or those storylines, everything.
Right.
So yeah, it was exhilarating.
Now, after it was all said and done, did you ever get a chance to play the game? And if so, who did you pick?
Did I ever get a chance to play the game that season 3? I mean,
yes.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this, Dax. Don't tell anybody.
Mum's the word.
I like that little stutter there. Like you're on the program, right?
Yeah, right. Like just roll with it. Just roll with it.
Like, oh gosh, she's an idiot.
I feel like Brian Griffin. I'm like, okay.
Sure. Nobody will know. No, just because I don't mean to sound like a ding dong when I say this, or arrogant or anything of the sort. It's just been so busy. But I did play I played episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, as of right now, and for a handful of reasons we can get into if you'd like. I am halfway through episode 4. I have not finished the season. I know that we are in August right now of 2017, but there were a couple of reasons why I haven't been able to finish the season.
Right.
But it's waiting for me.
Oh, don't trust me. If it helps you anyway, I tend to, when it comes to just the Walking Dead series alone, I'm playing Guardians of the Galaxy, and I played Batman, and I played a little easier games. I would say not easier from a standpoint of mindset, but when it comes to the Walking Dead games, sometimes I got to walk away.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That was definitely one of the reasons.
It does take a toll on you. And sometimes it's like you feel so much empathy for these characters, and it gets so rough and gray. And it is in its own self. And I don't think people realize this. It is a sociological type of experiment in a sense.
Oh, you're so involved. You're so involved and invested emotionally and just mentally and and sometimes physically. I'm not gonna lie.
Sometimes when you think you make the wrong decision, it's like, oh god.
Oh, it kills you. Oh, I know. They know what they're doing over there at Telltale.
It's phenomenal, and it kills me when they when the survey comes at the end. You hope
and you see. Oh yeah, sure.
You hope
see the
not to be
results.
you hope not to be like the minority of the percentage of what
Yeah.
you've done.
Yeah, actually, the first time I played, I didn't know that those stats like happened at the end, and like it would be like that, and it was fascinating to see. Like, I couldn't believe how many people shot the truck driver. I didn't shoot the truck driver. I let him go. I'm not going to shoot a guy in the back. Like, I was like, oh my God. I was in the minority. I couldn't believe how many people shot him.
Isn't it crazy, though? Isn't it really crazy when you look at the results at the end sometime?
Yeah, man. Serious. Anyway,
we live in.
Yeah.
Now I want to change up real quick. So I want to talk about other things along the way. Let's talk about your very first TV commercial.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Your first role was at the age of 7, from what I read on IMDb. Do you remember your experience with that?
I do. That was my first on-camera TV commercial, and I was about 7. And I was a goof, and I do remember it was for a local TV spot in Columbus, Ohio, for some sort of like children's educational program or whatever, and like we were doing, like, it was a group of us little kids, and we were doing like, experiments or whatever. And I remember going over to my mom after, who was there the whole time, and she was watching, and saying something like, did I look smart enough?
Oh.
Because like, it's just these little kids doing science experiments. I had never done a science
experiment. I can only imagine how adorable that was when you approached your mom.
Yeah, like, I'm like working with like goggles and beakers and, doing these little sciencey things and being like, Mom, did I look like a real scientist? So yeah, did I look smart? Did I look like a science person? So so it started young.
Nice. Now, also with that said, it appears that you have a really talented and artistic group of, family here. Were they your influence along the way of becoming an actress? Influence?
They're the reason. I mean, for crying out loud. Oh, I got a question for you. What tips? Where did you discover that? Like, were you Googling and you were like, Shelly has a crazy family?
IMDb, of course, again.
Okay. Yeah, IMDb is nice. Yeah, really artistic family. But like, if we get down to the nitty gritty of this, I mean, I had, mom and a dad, both, my mom's full-time mom. There were 5 kids in the family, and my dad is very creative, always in local plays, and he, nice. played the trumpet very well. And my mom was a full-time mom, but she would put on art classes because like all the neighborhood kids would come over to play at our house because we had a trampoline. And
you were that family.
We were the family that had the trampoline, but we were also the family that had to know first aid when these kids pull the trampoline over to the side of the house, climb up onto the roof, and start jumping off the roof. So, geez. I mean, so we were very adventurous, very crazy and really fun. But like, when it came down to the everyday life inside of our family, honestly, you only got ahead. You only got anywhere in our family if you were funny.
Right.
You had to outthink and outwit anybody trying to get attention away from you in order to get the attention of the family. And I kind of get that.
I kind of get that vibe from you, like from the door. The minute that I've gotten to notice you on social media and such.
Oh yeah. My siblings. I mean, and I got 3 older brothers and a little sister. Right. So I got to be the little sister, and I got to be the older sister. Older sister to my little sister, and little sister to my older brothers, of which I have 3 older brothers. But really, like, being raised in that spot, I was number 4. Right. And in that time, I really just was, I had to learn basketball and football in order to be able to play.
Wow.
And also you had to become an escape artist in order to make it out alive, because they would capture you and, tie you up and you have to, you got to outthink, outwit, outsmart. It's very unscholastic growing up. When I was a little kid, I had 3 older brothers that I had to learn how to escape from. They were hilarious.
That's how it normally goes.
Be funny. You had to be funny. If you were funny, you got out of just about anything. So
that is cool. Now, you've also directed as well. You've done a few things. You're actually, if I'm correct, you're in the midst of something coming up soon. Which one between the two, between acting or directing, which do you find more challenging?
More challenging? Well, you have to bring a level of communication and emotional intelligence with you on both sides to really, understand what's being asked of you as an artist and what you're asking from your artist if you're the director. And you've got to be able to think on your feet and craft what you're doing to what's happening in the moment so that you can get the best work or give the best work. Okay. And so if it's challenging as an artist, it just depends on who you're working with and what you're working on. So it's very circumstantial. Right. If it's challenging as a director, it depends on who you're working with and what you're asking from them. So really, this is all, it all depends on what you're working with at the time and who you're working with on it and the actual material itself. So they both come with their challenges, but those are challenges that are, like I said, they're a thrill.
Sounds like the art of adjusting and assimilating, pretty much. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, I mean it's improv on your feet. I mean you gotta make it work, and you've got a little bit of time, and you've got to be concise and smart and clear in your directive and your communication and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's great, and you try to be as efficient and in tune as possible so that you can get or give the absolute best work.
Right. Yeah. When it comes to, you also do voice coaching as well. Mm-hmm. What would you say, could you actually tell us maybe some of the fundamental basics of which you would provide a newbie, as you would put?
Oh, in which regard?
In regards to voice acting, especially.
Well, yeah, I mean, for coaching, so what I do with NYC VO Coach, right? Mm-hmm. That's the coaching site, and I work with a lot of actors with career counseling and starting their careers, but then I also work with them once they've gotten started and what to do with it. And I also work with seasoned vets who have sometimes, not just hit sort of a dry spell, but some that are thriving and they want to do even more. So it really depends on where they're coming from and what I'm coaching them on. With brand newbies, I would say you got to be training, you got to be working, and you got to be patient. Right. And really, if you break that down, you got to be training. So what I mean by that is you've got to think of the voiceover industry like a gym.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got to be on that mic every day because you're getting stronger and you're learning and you're working and you learn something every time. Right. And you've got to take note of all these things and note of your instrument and how you work, when you work best, what kind of work you need to do, when you need to do it, how you get it done, your work ethic, and you got to run this all like a business. As fun as it is, a lot of people just think they can get started and just start working, and you have to get started and build a business first. I mean, it's not called show working; it's called show business. And you've got to be able to run and operate yourself and what you're doing like a business. And this takes time and it takes patience. And people don't have a lot of patience, which is crazy. Because in this industry, people are impatient, which is a wild, unfortunate thing because people only appreciate your work if you're great, if you can show your talent and you show that you're crazy good, right?
And passionate too, correct?
But in order to get there, you have to put in the time and the work ethic and the practice in order to be good. So in order to be good, you have to be patient so that you can build up your training and be successful. But people want to be in it and just be successful.
They think it's a 22-minute episode of any show that they have ever watched.
Yeah, they just think it just happened all in that 22 minutes, and it takes 22 years to make a 22 episode of anything, in an episode of anything. So they got to be patient. They got to be patient and trust that it will happen if they're patient.
I can't tell you how beautiful of a response to that question it was. Part of the reason why I have guests like yourself on this show is to not only just, show the entertainment side of things, but show the realistic. And actually, there's a lot of people who listen to this show who want to be voice actors or want to be in the business and doesn't really quite understand or needs to understand what goes into it. And you couldn't have said it better myself the way you just answered that question.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Because I get this all the time, especially even just doing what I'm doing, on a daily basis as a multimedia developer. And people just think that it happens in a snap of a finger. No.
Oh, yeah.
It really does not happen that way. And I love having people like yourself and talented people like yourself on here to explain to people, because it's almost like the relationship thing. It's like they don't hear you because you're, involved with them. But if you get it from somebody else, it's a whole new ball game.
Sure, of course.
So, let's get into some fun things. Let's talk about your Instagram.
Okay, sure.
We pretty much got to know each other from Instagram, pretty much.
Okay, yeah. You messaged me on Instagram, I think, right?
Correct. And not only that, but I saw you saw me, whatever way that came by. And when I noticed you come off so fun, carefree, and outgoing.
That's a lie. These are all lies.
Look, isn't that social media?
No, yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
What I want to know is that because it looks like you just do so much, but you still find time to have fun. And what exactly do you do during your off time out of the studio?
What do I do in my off time in the studio?
What is relaxed time for you?
I see you're asking me that because all I post about is probably studio time, right? So what you're telling me
is that is so not true.
Social media. No. Oh my gosh. What do I do? Well, I don't know if you've noticed, Dax, but every once in a while, what really tells the story about what I do every day are probably the not the actual posts themselves, but the stories.
Mm-hmm. And trust me, this is gonna segue into another question I have. So go right ahead.
Sure. But a lot of times with the stories, I'll just be like, "Wow, this is awesome." But then I don't know if it's awesome. Like I get such grief from like other people in the industry sometimes who are like, okay, Shell, we know that you're doing like X, Y, and Z, like whatever. Can you just like post about like your, about something else, like about the ocean or whatever? Like this is the weirdest stuff.
We have actors and actresses that do that. You do your thing.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I cannot make everybody happy, but here's what I'll answer your question. Yeah, a lot of the stuff is in the timeline stuff. In the daily stories or whatever. But your question is, what do I do that's not related to the voiceover industry that I love?
What is relaxed time for you when not in the studio?
Can you explain to me what relaxed time is?
A time when you get to...
I'm kidding. I'm pulling shame. No, I work a lot, and that's both a wonderful thing and also a crippling thing if I'm not careful. Right. And so if I am being careful and I'm giving myself the time, I've got a couple awesome things that I do and that I love. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I've got a little garden on my fire escape, and I'm growing tomatoes, basil, peppers, jalapenos, kale.
Okay. Ooh.
And I think there's carrots growing in there, but I don't know how to get them out. I think you just dig them up, and I don't know when they're done.
It's like its own bonsai tree.
Yeah, like I didn't know what I was doing when I made this garden, so I'm just pretending. But it smells great, and I actually eat from it now almost every day, which I never thought I would say that. So I love doing that because it's just like, oh, and it's so dumb. I'm so dumb. I've got it on the fire escape. I need to get that off. But I love that. I just redid a bunch of closets in my house, which I'm excited about. I like built shelves, but I didn't post anything about that on social media because I don't think anybody cares that I built shelves in my house, but it made me so happy. And I also bought a hammock. Dax, I don't know what I'm going to do with the hammock. What the hell am I going to do with it?
Do you have an area where you can put it?
No. Of course I don't. But what I did, I mean, I might. I just need to put it together, and part of me was like, maybe I should just put it in my office. And then I got voiceover students coming here being like, okay, we're going to work in your office. Why is there a hammock in here?
Well, you do the voice acting while I'll sit over here. Yeah, I'll coach you from there.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you some questions while I'm swinging from my hammock.
Let me know if you hear the hammock from the microphone if it picks up.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I love to travel more than anything. I say that, but I haven't done it nearly as much as I would like to. I spent a lot of time in the last couple of years traveling to go see my dad because he was getting really sick. And so the last couple of years I've only traveled to go see him, and I haven't really traveled, but my hope is that in the next year, my hope is that I'll be able to start posting pics from, places I go to.
Right. Look, I don't know what you're saying, but every once in a while you're always smiling, first of all, and you have this girl next door type of vibe that I think a lot of people enjoy. It's
awesome. Okay.
It's Sunshine personified, people. If you haven't checked it out, go to her Instagram page. Trust me.
I'm going to start posting pics of me just frowning. just to give a little variety. If you were on my social media, what's the best part? What do people want to see more of? That's a good question.
Here's the deal. I do follow a lot of the people that's been on the show.
Yeah.
It's like it goes any way. I mean, you know your crowd. They love you no matter what you do, to be honest.
Oh, do you say that to everybody, or are you?
No, this is the first time I've ever said this to anybody. But I feel like
really sweet.
I really feel like you, especially the way, and trust me, I drew this inference of you even before we've literally met for the first time right now. Yeah. And I have a tendency to really kind of understand and know people just on inferences alone. And you just come off like exactly what I thought you were going to be. This really cheerful, outgoing, like you said you were with your family. And it was just spot on.
That is the sweetest thing. I will say the people that have been on social media and I got a brand new Facebook page, which I'm trying to pay more attention to and do stuff on there. But on there and then on social media, on the Instagram and also on the Twitter, I mean, geez, these people are so nice. They're just so nice. I posted a picture of the Wawa hoagies screenshot, which I was so excited because I had my first Wawa hoagie. Right. And all these people were like, yeah, you got a hoagie. I mean, they were so nice.
You know what that does too? Though. But you know what that does? That actually humanizes you with your fan base. And when they see, I mean, you talk about just not taking pictures of shelves. That's normal. That's what normal people do. And they dig that. It's not you Kardashian up every single time. People can't relate to that. People can relate to you, gardening and doing stuff like that, and it makes them feel welcomed into your world. So,
that's cool.
I would just say just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, there are people out there that I know that has been on the show that I'm close with that is fighting the fight out there with politics and what's going on in the world and voicing their opinion, which is great. There are other people who travel and show what they travel in, which brings a little bit of peaceful side of things. That's also great. And then there are other people who just, and by the way, congratulations on being the second person to ever live in the east side of where I live at. Because you're in New York too, right?
Congratulations on being the second person on the east side. Oh, you mean on the East Coast?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Everybody else that I've ever interviewed, majority of everybody interviewed is in the West, or one in Central, but everybody else is from the West. So you and another guest that I've had lives in New York. So I'm like,
let me tell you this. Who do you primarily interview? Like voice artists?
Yes. Mostly voice artists, some artists or character designers too, game design, it's a little bit of everything, but mostly voice actors.
That's awesome. Well, let's just break a stereotype right now, which would be that so many voice artists that come to me, like people that I coach and train and work with and direct, one of their first questions almost always is, but is there animation work in New York on the East Coast? And it's like, have you seen what I've been doing?
Yeah.
Like, not to be, a jerk or anything, but like, have you been like, how do you even know about me?
Yeah, honestly, you'd be surprised how many people don't realize about that. And it surprised me last time. Allison Lee Rosenfeld is the other person I've interviewed who's from New York, and she does Pokemon. And I didn't know at the time. Oh, yeah. I didn't know Pokemon was done in New York.
Oh yeah, I mean, but it doesn't matter where it's done because it can be done anywhere.
Right.
Like I like, a lot of the actors for Telltale, they record in a bunch of different locations.
Right.
And that's the same with just about everything. One of my good friends is also in Pokemon actually, and he's here. He lives in Queens, I think.
Right.
So yeah.
There you go,
man.
People. You don't have to travel far.
All I'm saying is, way to go, East Coast. I mean, we are very much alive in the world of animation.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Represent. Yeah. So, thank you so much for being on the show. I got a couple more questions for you, but thank you. I'm enjoying myself immensely.
Oh, awesome! This is sweet.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I have reason to believe that you just happen to be some sort of a wrestling fan. Is that true?
Okay. Yeah. Well,
explain yourself.
Explain yourself, woman. Let's be really clear. I never was before I met my boo, Michael Buckley. He's on Insta as The Real Buckley.
All right.
And he just loved wrestling. Of course, he didn't tell me about it like the whole first year we were together. He'd be like, I'm going over to Dan's house.
You got to test him out.
I guess so.
You got to feel him out before you go.
I'm just going to put this together here real quick. You're a wrestling fan, eh? Right?
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you to pay very close attention to my social media handles over the next 2 weeks because we're going to SummerSlam. We're going to NXT. We're doing all that stuff. But yeah, Michael was really, really passionate about it. Of course, he didn't tell me about it for like a year, so I didn't know what the hell was happening. I just knew that like around his birthday that he loved to watch WrestleMania. And then like a couple months later, he'd go to SummerSlam. Then a couple months after that, he would do the one in the fall. And then a couple months after that, he's doing the one in January.
He slowly got you in.
Yeah, I was like, it seems like there's a WrestleMania every 2 months. But I was like, okay.
There kind of is, actually.
Of course there is. There is. It's like every season. There's one every season.
Was it to the point where like he comes in one day from one of the events and you're just sitting there on a couch or something like that, just waiting for him to come over, like, sit down for a second?
No, it was. I never really I just knew he liked it, but it wasn't until honestly, I think he got interviewed for something, and he was like, I think he was like, yeah, and she's such a good sport. And I was just like, wait a minute, what? Like, how deeply involved is this? Like, is this going to be in our lives? And then sure enough, more and more, we started getting more and more tickets for things. And next thing you know, I'm meeting Paul Heyman. He's sitting on my lap at an event, and these photos go viral. And I'm just like, I have no idea what's happening here. Last summer, was it last summer or the summer before? Right. Forgive me, I got to ask Michael to remember, but I wrote an article because Michael was like, would you be interested if we went to one of these events? It was like SummerSlam or something, or NXT. If would you write about it from your perspective? Because I'm a writer, right. And he was like, would you write about it from your perspective?
That's actually a great idea.
And so I was like, yeah, sure. And so I think this was 2 years ago. And I did. And that article made it on the homepage of this super hot wrestling site, independent wrestling fan site. And that was where I truly discovered the WWE universe.
Wow.
And the fans inside of it.
Right.
I mean, they are comparable to the Walking Dead fans. I mean, this is a fandom that is its own universe. It really is. There's the Walking Dead universe. There's the WWE universe.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those fans love each other.
Yeah, there's very assimilation.
It's very similar, and a lot of wrestling fans, love The Walking Dead. I mean, you can like sort of tell, just because like you just kind of know, like some people are, they truly love wrestling or whatever.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it just became more and more. But that article that I wrote ended up, my goodness.
Do you remember what site that was?
Hold on.
Like PW Insider, Wrestling Observer by chance, or?
Let me see. Hey, Michael, you remember when I wrote that article for like SummerSlam?
It was after NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 1.
It was for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 1. He says that was a good one.
That was, Bailey Sasha.
Sasha, what's up?
Oh, yes, that was a great one.
Yeah, isn't that great? He said that was amazing. It was not a great match.
It's the best match I've
ever
seen.
It really was. And by the way, Dax, I have become a genuine fan. Like, I actually know who all these people are, and I love them. I thought they're great stories. Anyway.
And the website was Inside Pulse.
Inside Pulse, yeah.
Okay, I do recall knowing about that one. And points to him, by the way.
And Michael, Dax, wait, sorry, what did you say?
And the following year is the year that I got you to dress up as the Nature Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Is that online?
He goes, is that online?
And if not, how dare you keep that from people?
And if not, how dare you? I'll tell you, yeah. So he said the next year, yeah. So that was 2 years ago. That was Inside Pulse. And that article was crazy. And then, and that's where I found like, oh, jeez, it just was crazy. Then the next year we both went as the Nature Boy. And yeah, there's some videos out there. There's definitely some pictures, and that we both have Nature Boy robes that are like
going out of my way, like Barney from How I Met Your Mother, to find these videos.
Oh yeah, we hand glued on every single one of those.
Oh my goodness!
Crystals on these robes that we made. It was crazy. Oh man, I'll send you some pictures if I can find them. But they're out there. They're out there.
Oh my goodness, that is the best.
Yeah, actually, and so Michael, he always wanted to be a wrestler, but he was like, but what if they ruined my beautiful face? No, I'm just kidding. But
that's a gimmick in itself.
I was like, if you want to do it, you should do it and go take classes. And he actually started training.
Nice.
And he was like, "Oh man, it hurts so much more than it looks like."
Those first back bumps, I heard.
That's the back bumps, man. You gotta watch it. And did you see Glow?
Yes. Oh God, yes. That was so great.
There's an article. There was an interview. I think it was Mark Maron's podcast,
yes.
And the leads of Glow. They were talking about, man, those back bumps hurt. They never don't hurt. Right?
Yeah, no matter how they, even in a WWE ring, as much as they reinforce that, it probably still has some impact.
Of course it does, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so he took some training, but then finally he had talked about it so much, and I'll end with this, but he had talked about it so much. Finally, I said, Michael, if you don't stop talking to me about it and start talking out loud about it,
mm-hmm.
then it will never happen.
Yep.
You have got to start talking out loud about it. Start talking about what you want to do and start putting it out there, because if you don't put it out here, if you just let it swirl around in our apartment, it's never going to go anywhere. Put it out there, start talking, start doing it. That was last summer.
That is similar to what CM Punk said in his documentary when he said, never, you can't do anything sitting on the couch.
Yeah, exactly. And that's true. And everybody knows that, And that was last August. And I said, if you don't, seriously, I'm going to kill myself. If you don't put it out there, like, there's nothing I can do, but put it out into the universe.
Right.
And that was the beginning of last August. And within 5 weeks of Michael starting to casually bring it up in conversations with people and online and little things here and there where he was like, he felt like, it might be appropriate. So he was just kind of talking out loud about it. He didn't know how, but he just started talking out loud about it. Next thing you know, this person who he mentioned it to
mm-hmm.
goes, I actually know a talent scout for one of the biggest indie wrestling companies in the Bronx, actually. And they might be looking for somebody like a character to play, like maybe like a manager
in a manager role first,
or a manager role, or maybe like an announcer.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael was like, I'll do it. I'll be an announcer.
Absolutely.
And he's like, I'll come up with a character. I'll be an announcer. Da, 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 da. Within 3 weeks after that, he got his first interview to be an announcer. And within a week of that, one of Michael's clients, so Michael runs a fitness business, and one of his clients was like, hey, just happened to say, because Michael was like, I would want to do like a 5-star, really, play up the being cute and dressing nice and being a sort of a flashy announcer.
Like Corey Graves, almost, kind of.
Exactly, like Corey Graves, who we've met, who, by the way, is the sweetest.
I'm sure he comes off like he's just such a really passionate.
He is. And no matter how he comes off, you are correct, because he is such a sweet pea. And he's like Corey Graves, right? But in the ring announcing. Right. And one of Michael's clients was like, hey, I just got invited to a private Armani sale. And you came to mind for some reason. Do you by any chance need an Armani suit?
What?
And Michael was like, can I get 3? And this girl takes his measurements and goes to this private event and comes back with 3 $3,000 suits.
Wow. And then the Ric Flair promos begin.
And then we did SummerSlam, and we did this, and we put these videos out, and because I said, get it out there, and one of the first things we did was dress up like Ric Flair and go to this, thing, and then shortly after that, when Michael was talking about it, he got the appointment to meet with a talent scout who might be looking for a new announcer or something like that, and 2 weeks after that, he had these brand new Armani suits, and he just did his second event. And an article came out. It was last weekend. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw my timeline story, but I posted a short video of this wrestler called Sonny Kiss, mm-hmm. who came out doing a music video, like doing a music with backup dancers.
Right.
And today, that article about Sonny Kiss coming out with backup dancers went viral, and it's on a website called WrestleZone.com.
I know WrestleZone. I definitely know WrestleZone.
Michael's on the front page of WrestleZone right now.
Nice. I'm on it.
And it's called Rusev and Lana attend MLS All-Star Game. NXT star appearing for Progress Wrestling. And the next one is Sonny Kiss Full Capital Wrestling Hoboken music video. And it's all on the homepage of WrestleZone right now. And you can see Michael in his Armani suit announcing the Capital Wrestling. He's the Capital Wrestling announcer as of right now. So
that is really phenomenal. I mean,
sorry, take that so long.
No, not at all. Not at all. We are guaranteed. There's a lot of fans of ours that not only are part of anime, comics, movies, and games, but there's some wrestling fans within all of this too.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I mean, the Wrestling Zone is amazing. I love the wrestling fans because they're so honest and they're so passionate, and like you see
sometimes too passionate, but
no, but it's a good thing, and they've got a creative outlet, and it's beautiful, and like you see full grown men wearing I'm a hugger t-shirts.
Yes.
It's just like, I love this.
I tell you, the good thing about being a wrestling fan is that you want what you want and you know what you want.
Yeah, and you can be honest about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I just want to say, last thing before I go to my last question.
Sure.
We're from. I'm talking from Philly here. So mm-hmm. Philly is getting the Royal Rumble. Me and my wife was going to plot to go there due to circumstances beyond our control. We not be able to, but that doesn't go for NXT. Or any of the other ones. So if you guys are just happening to want to come to Philly and hit NXT or anything, let me know. I'll definitely we'll definitely look out.
NXT Philly.
January. Remember when they do an NXT they do an NXT special whenever there's a major event. So they're doing one for like this one for SummerSlam. For this one, but they're going to do another one coming near the time of the Royal Rumble, which is like the second biggest pay-per-view of the year for them.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Royal Rumble is the
like the All-Star game
of January.
It's the All-Star game, sort of, kind of to the world, to the championships.
Of course, but we were just talking about there's a WrestleMania every 3 months, and it's the WrestleMania of January is the Royal Rumble. Okay. Yeah. Okay. On it. So about Oh, do you know when the tickets go on sale for Royal Rumble?
Well, the Royal Rumble unfortunately went on sale this Saturday, so I know for a fact they most likely sold out. Possibly.
Of course.
Of course, because this is like literally the second biggest of them all.
Yeah.
As far as their marketing, that's the second biggest. So that tends to, especially this is Philadelphia, this is ECW country and Ring of Honor country, so they tend to go out extremely quick. No pun intended.
Oh, all right.
But
Okay.
I know NXT has not gone on sale yet, nor has the Raw or SmackDown ones, which all will be in Philly too. So if any of you, keep me posted. If you guys are planning to want to check those out, I will go out of my way to try to jump on that as well and get to meet you guys personally.
Hold on. I'm texting Michael right now. He's in the other room in Philly. So I just said, do you want to go to NXT Royal Rumble in Philly? It's in January, right?
Yes, correct.
Of course.
Actually,
Yeah.
normally the end of January.
Yeah. You know that the NXT is always a better show.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Which is
right?
why I'm not totally. Well, the Royal Rumble is always fun because you never know who's going to do what, and there's always something fun going on. But NXT just in general, and I'm looking forward to this NXT that you guys are going to coming up because they just hyped it up. They hyped it up last night like crazy. So you guys are going to have a great time at that one. But if I'm missing out on that one, but NXT I think is definitely going to be the better show.
Okay, ready? So not to go on. My video game fans are like, we please get back to video games?
I know.
Right now they are so mad. But let me just
blame it on me because I brought this up and I knew this was going to happen. So.
Okay. So let me just say, the week of Michael just texted back, yup. So I guess it's happening, Dax. So the week of SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you what the week looks like for us, okay?
Yeah.
So on the 17th, we're going to the Sam Roberts podcast for the third year in a row, which he's only been doing it for 3 years. So we've been to every Sam Roberts podcast at Caroline's on Broadway. We're going to that this year.
Right.
The next day on the 18th, we're going to, it's called Ringside with Jim Ross, Gotham Comedy Club.
Oh, you're going to that one. We're
going
cool.
to not just the show, but we're also going to the meet and greet, which is happening beforehand so that we can actually
Those are always great shows, I hear.
Meet with him in person.
That's cool.
Then the next day, the 19th is that the actual SummerSlam?
It should be that day.
Okay, so we're watching SummerSlam at home because it's the big show and it's the one you watch at home. I'm telling you, because it's better on TV.
I've been to WrestleMania. I understand.
Yeah. Then on Sunday the 20th, we're going to Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard.
Oh, you're doing a Bruce Pritchard show. Nice.
We're also doing the VIP meet and greet with him. And then on Tuesday, this is no joke. And then on Tuesday the 22nd, we're going to SmackDown Live. Nice. In Brooklyn.
Very, very cool.
So that's what my August is looking like.
So not a bad August, I say.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you to the video game fans for hanging in there, the ones that aren't affiliated with wrestling in any way. Okay, and we shall continue. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. The last question I have, going back to The Walking Dead, and I'm pretty sure this is probably a question you're not going to be able to answer, but what the hell? Will we possibly see Kate Garcia in The Walking Dead last season?
If you find out, let me know.
Well put.
because this is the only thing I have to say about that. You never know.
Yeah, and that's been true. That's been proven throughout the other seasons.
And it is true. And you know what? I encourage the fans of The Walking Dead. If you do want to see Kate, you got to let them know. Mm-hmm. Because they are listening. And fans come to me and they're like, will you please tell Telltale? And I'm like, you tell them. They're listening to you.
Absolutely. And I totally agree. I mean, we've, in the past few seasons, season 2, we've gotten characters from season 1.
That's absolutely true.
So,
so they pay attention. They do pay attention, and and they know very well. They know what I'm doing. They know that I've got that I'm big fans of the fans that send fan mail. So I've had fan sort of art
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big fan of the artists, and they've sent me their stuff it's Shelly Shenoy mail at gmail.com.
Right.
And if they send their home address with it, I'm going to send them a thank you.
Right.
And that's actually something in the mail. But then what's funny is that I'm getting letters from, all over Europe, and I've actually never sent mail to Europe. But first I'm like, oh crap, now I got to figure out how this is going to get mailed.
Google Translate.
But I want to thank them for being patient, because I've got these really cute cards here that have some surprises and stuff on them, and they might need a magnifying glass to see some of the stuff, but it's just going to keep it really exciting and fun. Dax, you should send me your home address as well. I'll mail you one of these.
I definitely appreciate it.
But yeah, so there's that. I have 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
Did you kiss Kate?
Of course. I actually myself kind of like, I kind of went on that deal of like living vicariously through Javier, and I was like, no, Javi, I'm sorry. I felt kind of bad, but at the same time, I was like, look, he's kind of acting like a little bit of a,
Well, it's crazy. This is what I have to say to the fans that may or may not be listening that did not kiss Kate, that got very, very angry when the possibility came up to kiss Kate in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, if you are, for the most part, honestly, if you are 13 or younger, you said absolutely no way. And if you were 14 or above, you said absolutely yes. And the other circumstance to that is if you have a very close relationship with one of your current brothers right now, you said no. And the other one is, if you are a diehard video game player and fan, then without a doubt you kissed Kate. This is what I've seen come in. And so I'll say to those people that didn't, hey, you've never been in an apocalypse. It's okay. But once you're older than 14 and you play season 3 again, there will not be a doubt in my mind that you will kiss Kate.
That's the thing. You could go back on this game, on all the Telltale games,
and you play it again.
And play it again from a different mindset.
Oh, it's true. And once you grow up a little bit,
your ideology changes a bit.
Then you're going to be like, hold on. I am a professional baseball player, and she is smoking hot, and absolutely, she is definitely the love of my life. And you just can't hold back on that. You just can't.
And things in my life isn't going too well, but this is the one thing.
but like, I've got her on my team. This is happening. That's the truth. That's the truth.
So what is next for you now in the world of acting?
Well,
or in general.
I'm gonna go prune my tomato plant. I'm working on something with Telltale right now, and I'm working on 2 other things with 2 other video game companies, and I wish I could say what they were, but I cannot.
Of course.
But again, if people, pay attention, I'll try to get some news out on the Facebook page, as soon as I can. And, we'll let people know what's happening in the video game world over the next year. It's going to be really, really, really cool and exciting.
Cool. Well, the good thing is you're still in the motion of things, and that's great. So
yeah, it's a very exciting thing. And then for, NYC VO coach, of course, for that, I'm running my very first online program. And I ran a draft of that in the beginning of July, and it went very, very well. So that's called Mastering the At-Home Audition. Because if you don't know how to audition, you're never going to book the job.
Absolutely.
So.
I think that what you're doing with that is tremendous. I like the way, because a lot of people don't know where to go. And honestly, I'm not lying when I say this. I have a A.C.M.G Facebook group, which really spawned all of this.
Oh, cool.
But, there are a lot of people who, especially when they see that I have guests on a show like that, and a lot of them say, like, I really would like to be a voice actor. I'm like, I really need you to listen to this show, because there are people that give you a lot of information on and a lot of insight on what to do or where to go and how this really is. If you really, truly believe and if you really, truly want this, listen to the show.
Well, listen, this is what I say to anybody that works with a coach at any time, and I hope that their coach feels the same way that I do, and that is directing new talent and helping people start careers and start their businesses. I have a philosophy and something that I live by every day, and that really truly is that there is, and I believe this without a shadow of doubt, there is more than enough room for all of us at the top.
Thank you.
I just happen to know how hard it is to get there.
Right.
If you are willing to put in the work, I will grab you and squeeze you and hug the crap out of you when you get here, because I'm waiting for you.
I do think that that's another thing you just pointed out that I think there's, and just not even just in your industry, but a lot of people's industry, is that everybody feels like there's not enough room for people to work together. And
please.
That's insane.
There's more than enough work to be had. My goodness, I couldn't do a fraction of it if I tried, if I was offered all of it. There's just no way.
Right.
There's so much room. There's so many opportunities. It is a thriving industry that doesn't quit, and it renews itself every morning.
Agreed.
So get in there and get in the game. Just make sure you're doing it right. Make sure that you've got, you're willing to put in the work
more than anything
to build a business.
Yes. And patience, and like you said, patience. I think that's a major deal.
It takes a lot, like companies like Amazon or JetBlue or just anything that comes to mind. They weren't built overnight. Right. And you and your business, it's not going to happen overnight, but you can do a little something every day to make it start working.
You are
and
wonderful.
It will. It is absolutely true.
You are the best.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to speak with you. I'm sorry this went a little longer than I think you planned.
Oh, no. Trust me. This is not the longest I've ever had a guest.
All right. Okay, good.
You're in the good. Trust me. They will listen. It is good. But right now, I want to give you the opportunity to, plug your whereabouts, where where our listeners and your followers can, find you at all times.
Oh, well, I'm in Harlem. No, I'm just kidding. Well, for directing and coaching and classes, both in person in the studio and also online, all of that information is available on www.nycvocoach.com. NYCVOCOACH, NYCVOcoach.com. For updates on what I'm doing, aside from, checking out IMDb, which is pretty awesome. I will try to keep everybody posted with behind the scenes stuff, getting into detail and getting into all those fun, juicy tidbits on Facebook. And that's at Shelly Shenoy Official on Facebook. And for, just cute little pics whenever I can on Instagram. Those are some fun little smiley faces and whatnot. That's at Shelly Shenoy, and I'm on Twitter at Shelly Shenoy.
Cool. Well, Shelly, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. I wish we could do it for longer, but I'm a whole lot of questions. But this is not the last time I'm going to have you on the show, guaranteed.
Oh, Dax, you're so sweet. Such good times. And keep me posted on January. Looks like we might be coming to see you.
No doubt. I'm all looking forward to that. Definitely. We'll definitely make it an outing.
Cool, dude. Yeah. Shoot me a message and let me know when to look for those tickets or whatever, and we'll figure it out.
You got it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you definitely enjoyed this very special episode of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live with Shelly Shenoy. Definitely thank you so much again for having us, and stay tuned for more of what we have to offer here at A.C.M.G. So on behalf of myself and the lovely and talented Shelly Shenoy, all I got to say is learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live. We're out of here. Take care. This episode of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live is brought to you by Viewfinder's Identity Search and Design, your choice for multimedia development for your brand. Visit VFISAD.com and find out how we can make your vision your reality.